So good morning once again, one and all, to this mini day of education. And I really hope you can see my screen. If there is any problem during the session, please do share with me in the chat box. I'm sharing my screen. Just a minute, please. Please keep your videos on, otherwise I'll be talking to a wall. I can't see the video screens also in that sense. Okay, let's begin the session. This is session number 1, financial literacy for our parents, pensioners, senior citizens. I've taken up a similar session almost 2 years back, but the topic was different, but it was pertaining to the senior citizens only. The best investment options for senior citizens. It was done on another day of education, 12th of August, which is my dad's birthday. So, late dad's birthday, of course. So as usual, all my presentations always begin with thanking the Lord Almighty who's given me much more than what I deserve. And when it comes to finance, I have to thank this man. Of course, there can no word which can define his contribution to me. And you can say whatever he has been instrumental in teaching me, which I'm imparting with you guys all. I think my screen is blocked. Yeah. So thank you, Dad. I see you always. So this is my brief CV. All are aware of it by now. Let's begin the proceedings. So today's topic is financial literacy for Indian senior pros. This is the first webinar of the day on the mini day of education, 30th June. And we begin our topic with this title in our mind. So again, as I said, this is a tribute to him. Because of him, we are doing this session, especially on 30th of June and 12th of August. So what exactly is characteristic with our parents? They are mostly senior citizens. We all know them. Of course, what defines a senior citizen in Indian context? You can say it is the twilight age where people quit from their job, where people quit from their profession and they go on to do or enjoy a retired life. In government terminology, once you cross 60, you're labeled as a senior citizens. And once you cross 80, you're labeled as a super senior citizen. So there are a few things that change usually when it comes to senior citizens, when we try to envisage those situations. What are those? So the first thing is their needs reduce drastically. Of course, their age increases, their appetite decreases, so their needs are actually less. Their wants actually totally flatten out or almost are nil. Zabardasti, we have to take them for any even events of anniversaries, birthdays, or any family get-togethers. Otherwise, they are not willing to move from the comfort of their home. And of course, their urges of splurging out the money for trying out something new by visiting, by holiday, by vacation, they all die down courtesy, you can say, their age factor. But the reason for all this is they are into that zone of MPSC, Moksha Prapti syndrome on earth, that I always say. Once they cross 60, they believe they have attained nirvana. Nothing wrong in that. The only thing is they always have you can say, achieved satisfaction levels. So by what is the reason of this all happening with them? Of course, their health worsens with age. Some of them lose their partners. The increasing age will lead to a lesser desire to spend because they believe that they have seen it all. They have seen everything, whatever they can in their lifespan. And that is the primary thing behind them getting satisfied at that age. So you can say they tend to start enjoying less of money. And that is primarily the reason
they also lose the ability to decision make as well. So what exactly goes wrong with them? What exactly is the difference with them? Let us see a few reasons for this part. So behavioral psychology says that you can say you make decisions based on certain thumb rules and shortcuts, and it is not a rational process otherwise. And of course, once you start having satisfaction and all those elements inside, that is when you tend to believe that all the information that you share with them, Papa, aap ye le lo investment, Papa, aap ye kar lo, Mama, aap ye kar lo, all those investments, they start, you can say, becoming tiring from them. They rely on their own experiences of the past, and that is why their financial decisions are impressed by whatever. As a youngster, you might be interested in investing in mutual funds, but they are not. They are still, you can say, a firm believer of the thought of investing in FDs, investing in real estate, or keeping it in bank locker, or whatever decisions that have given them success. Of course, times are changing, and that is where they need to understand a few things. And that is why this session is there for all of you. So the only thing is their past experience are their guide for their future decision making also. And that is where it influences their decision making for you also. For example, in their times, the FD used to be 13, 14, 15, 16%. I remember my dad had an FD of 16% around about in 2008 or 9. And that is a huge amount. Even I had an FD of 12, 12 and a half, 13% in 2003 or 4. But those were the investments of those times. In those times, inflation was less, interest rates were more. In today's times, interest rates are pretty down and the inflation is pretty much high. So that is where the balance has to be maintained. So still in this span where the RBI has decreased the repo ratio and of repo rates, and of course, the interest rates are rising in banks. Some of the banks have come up with 9.5, 9.6% interest in FDs for senior citizens as well. Yes, in today's times, I'm talking. So that is still a decent one. That may be a good option for them. But considering the same decision for you, where we have to equate and balance those things with our wants, our needs to splurge out, our ever increasing, you can say, appetite, and ever non-increasing or decreasing satisfaction levels. We have developed a complaining and a cribbing nature compared to them. So, of course, can't blame. We live in such a culture and we live in such an unfortunate society in today's times that we have forgotten to thank God for our small needs. And that is where their experience guides them, and they believe in going ahead with the choices they are familiar with. So what is, you can say, we believe that they are not flexible, they are not changing. It's only that their manifestation to deal with new information reduces also with age. If their appetite decreases, their needs and wants decrease, their appetite to have new information also decreases. So we don't stop learning as we age. How we process that and how we do it, that changes. And we label that on our parents or seniors in the family as non-flexible or rigid mindset. It's that they are open to information sometimes, but how that information is processed, how that information is yielding or resulting in decision making, that is making a difference in their lives. So, of course, even if you believe and ask them, Papa or Dadaji, what you did in 1965, 1970, they will vividly remember each of the details. Pata hai, bachpan mein tu aise karta tha. You were like this. One day it happened to you like this. They will remember all the vivid details. But if you ask them the recent memories, last week, do you remember which movie did we go to? They would not be aware of that. That is how the information is processing. So start treating them like a different individual psychologically, rather than labeling it on them for being rigid and inflexible in that regard. So again, this happens with everyone. Senile age will come for every one of us. Nobody can be immune to that. Nobody is immortal as well. So that is the phase of life which we all know and which we all have to accept, that is going to be one of the crude realities of today's times. Of course, our semantic memory is not susceptible to deterioration. Therefore, older people will find it difficult to filter unimportant information from the more important ones. Sometimes we tell them to narrate something or some incident. They'll go on slowly and slowly, making the context, setting the base, and telling you the whole story. And you get bored because we are an Instagram generation. Even maybe I'm not, but maybe some of you are. We are an Instagram generation. We have a habit of flip in 3 seconds. We get flipped every 3 seconds, every 4 seconds if the things don't interest us. So don't we say to our parents and seniors, आप सिर्फ काम की बात करो, आप पूरी कहानी मत सुनाओ, मैं पूरी कहानी नहीं सुन सकता. Remember, if you tell them the same thing, they are at least good listeners, but we have lost that ability to listen, you can say, to their incidents. How many of us actually sit with them and spend some time and listen to their things, whatever they have to share? नहीं, आप मेरे को काम की बताओ, आपको प्रॉब्लम क्या है? What is the problem that you are having? Please don't narrate the whole story. आज तेरी मम्मी ऐसे आई थी, आज तेरी मम्मी ऐसे गई थी, फिर वो आया था, फिर पोस्टमैन आया था, फिर कोरियर वाला. Please come to the point. We are amongst that generation. We have lost touch in those areas with our roots, with our parents. And of course, when we try to bombard them with information pertaining to finance, that is when they don't want to change, because their information is not processing as much as we want or at the speed as we are doing it. And that is perfectly okay for their age. And of course, when they have to evaluate certain complex features, they have to go about that task to understand what exactly is the reason behind it. And of course, that is why they make different choices regarding investments. Their preset notions, their prefixations about earning regular income, they always believe it. Some of you might be in job, some of you might along with your clinic, or of course in job. Their first instance would be, why leave the job? We did both, so you also do both. Why job? Because they have that thing at the back of their mind that you should not leave any source of fixed income. And that is what actually influences their decision making as well. They believe a regular free flowing income should be there, maybe through a dividend paying stock, maybe an interest earning bond, maybe any rental income source. So of course, as I said, their favorite investments include real estate as well. So they all will seek something which will give them secure retirement income. And they don't see mutual funds as a secure or a fixed income point. That is where they have to make a little adjustment, and we have to make them aware. So, of course, they don't understand the returns. They understand the returns of the income. They don't understand the growth or the XIRR or the, you can say, other parameters which govern the growth potential in that sense. So now some of us give them numbers. My mutual funds have grown by this much return, or whatever you can say, my investment is giving me this much return. They'll ask always, what is that you are getting in hand? Talk to me about that. It is growing. Once you have it in hand, talk to me about that after that. So again, that is why they are happy to accept those annuity plans when insurance company says, this is your survival benefit. Endowment plans, as we say, the normal policies which have been made popular by our previous generation. Of course, I consider that as their mistake in today's times. It is the time for specialists. You need a term insurance for insurance coverage. And of course, for growth, you need separate instruments. An endowment plan where you have some growth, some insurance is never a good option for them. Of course, they are always willing to stake their claim in some unknown finance company also, because they are not digitally that aware. They only believe कि हाँ इसमें 10% ब्याज, 3% ब्याज, 4% ब्याज ज़्यादा मिलता है. Whatever 3, 4, 5% more than what I'm normally getting. So they will put it in there. They will never think about the ideas of diversification and asset allocation. They don't understand the equity language. Simply saying, except those of them who are invested in stocks, they still might, but otherwise they don't understand the language of equity. They understand the debt language or the fixed sources of income language. And that is where, when mutual fund companies introduced the systemic withdrawal plan, they actually met with a lot of resistance. So they said, मुझे at the end of the month क्या मिलेगा? For any senior citizen, the primary thing is, even if they have a corpus or not, or even if they have a pension or not, their primary concern is what will be there at the end of any month in my bank account, which will help me in my day-to-day survival, because I am retired and I'm not going to work. And that is where it makes a difference to them. So again, many seniors do join the systemic withdrawal plans, but then understanding that how liquidating means you have to pay something upfront, or maybe you can say the charges to get free from your investment. They can say no amount of explanation could satisfy them in that regard. Even if you explain them that my returns have grown by so much percentage, it won't give any solace to them. So that is where, when you youngsters start opting in for SIPs and you go in for the ups and downs of the market, markets will grow in cycles. They will move ahead in those regards only. And their word of caution is, beta, market mein soch ke paise lagao. Don't go into the market and burn your money. That is where they need to understand and be aware of certain aspects. So then such investors are more willing to consider growth investments for retire planning than the numbers-based investment. So, as I said, they have their own processing issues of the data. So they will take their own sweet time to experience the product. And after they make sure that monthly income plans give out a regular income, they then begin to test the product. That is why they don't invest in, even if they invest in mutual funds, they will invest in a dividend paying option, because they believe. My father used to say one thing, Jo vattya so khattya. What you have in hand is worth its weight in gold. That is what this proverb means in Punjabi. So they have to, you can say, they prefer to understand those products where they get good, safe, secure income source, rather than the numbers on the balance sheet or the numbers on the Excel sheet. So they make their decisions faster in that regard, because so many things were not there in their time. They had limited scope, limited arena, limited things to remember. But in today's time, there are thousands of investments, I would say, thousands of products. You can say each company is coming up with hundreds of products, and we have so many companies. So it is difficult for even for a youngster to stay afloat with that kind of information. But then they have that notion again for the banks part also, which I face this, you can say, paradigm shift in the mind. I face this paradigm shift in the minds of youngsters, but they have failed to change this mindset in their seniors and their parents. So at this point, if any of the pensioners, senior citizens, or parents are attending this session, I would like to put it across that whatever you would like to believe, all banks, private or nationalized, they are legitimate sons and daughters of RBI. May it be a small finance bank, may it be a State Bank of India. All the banks will have a DIC, GC insurance of Deposit Insurance Credit Guarantee Corporation of 5 lakhs only, and which was before that 1 lakh only in the COVID times or pre-COVID time. It was raised to 5 lakhs after Yes Bank disaster just before COVID, or PMC Bank crisis also. So the only banks which are not recognized by RBI are the cooperative banks. So other than that, even if a bank is diseased, even if a bank is ill, they won't die. The banks are merged, coalesced, they are amalgamated, they are taken over, you can say acquired. All these terms are used for banks. The banks don't die down in today's times. So your money is as safe. That 5 lakh is just for your eye wash. Eye wash, not in a wrong sense, but in a good sense, that at least the customer feels secured. If that limit, now when it came to light, if that limit stayed 1 lakh, who would keep the money in bank? But for amount of 5 lakh, that amount is a very big amount for a normal middle class person to keep in bank. I come across dentists, I see so many balance sheets when I do the finance workshop. People don't have even 30,000 in their bank accounts. They have the money, but it's not in the bank. It's either in the investments, either in the market, either in the real estate, and then, of course, in the bunkers, in the commode, in their shelves, or wherever they have kept it concealed. Of course, demonetization part 2 brought out that money in the form of pink notes. We all know that. Still 3 months exactly to go today for that deadline. And we will see pinkies or the 2000s disappearing from market. So nothing wrong if senior citizens look for investment avenues that offer them fixed returns, because they don't want to venture into something new. They want to try out those things which have been tried and tested, or they would venture into those things which are tried and tested from them. So the problem is not there that they are not flexible. The problem is in their, you can say, clarity and thought process. So you can say even our retirement plans, whatever we say, it is, you can say, too much muddled at that aspect. Goal setting, funding, investing strategy, drawdown and bequest, of course, by legacy and will, because we haven't answered the fundamental question of how independent we truly desire to be. Some would say, if I get 4 crores, 3 crores in my bank account, I will be very, very secure. Somebody says, if I don't get even 10 crores, that would be less for me. I was having a chat with one of my very good friends last month only, whose daughter appeared in need. He said, my daughter wants to do MBBS. Now, having gone through the colleges list, I don't want her to go to an inferior college. Okay, what do you mean by inferior college? Please specify. He said, most of the government colleges are inferior only in today's times. I believe a good college, like AIMS, like Maulana Azad, say, what do you consider AIMS as a private college only? So let's drop that debate of government and private. He said, I believe I want to send my daughter to a good college, and she will not get the marks of a topper. I understand she will have marks less than 550 or so out of 720 of NEET. Said, okay, fine. What else? Said, now she won't get into the, you can say, the good government colleges also. I'll reframe my sentence. I won't get into the good government colleges also. So I want to send her to a private college. So what do you think is the fees for a normal medical college? Said, maybe around 5 to 6 lakhs per year. Said, no. He showed me a few examples of colleges of Punjab only, which are private. Let's see. This is having 9.99 lakh fees per year, not even per prof, per year. And that was not a local college. Said, imagine we paying 50, 60 lakhs just as a fees for the MBBS. And what next? He said, even in a good college, for a non-clinical seat, you will require 35 to 40 lakhs minimum. And if you're talking of a good seat, good specialty, I said, I'm not even talking of surgery, orthopedic or radiology, or you can say the coveted ones. I'm talking of the normal, you can say, even let's suppose I go in for a gynae. I won't get it for less than 1 CR, 1.5 CR in a good college, good private college, of course, again. Said, what is the solution? He said, I don't think so that I have the capacity to spend 2 CR only on the fees and then block my daughter for 8 to 9 years as well. He belongs to Agarwal family. So he said, we Baniyas have to spend, no disrespect, of course, we Baniyas have to spend a lot of money on our kids' marriage also. So I have not been financially smart like you. I've not been able to save so much. So I don't think I will have even that much money to pay her fees. And he was 1 year junior to me in college, means in passing out. But age-wise, he is about 3 years senior to me. So technically a difference of 4 years, in fact, in that sense. So with that also means that he will be turning 50 this year. I am 46, he'll be turning 50 this year in a couple of months. So the point what I'm trying to make here is that people nearing the age of 50 don't have even 2 CR to look at, even if they have to retire. And I say it very fondly, please retire at the age of 55. Don't look at 60 as your retirement age. Even he starts investing today heavily also. He is having a good clinic, good income, decent plus income. Even if he starts investing today without any expenses, he's not going to make 2 CR in 5 years or even 10 years. That is not practically possible. Unless he puts up huge money every month, which I'm not sure whether he'll be able to devote that in the next 10 years or so, or 5 years or so. So that is the point. You need to understand how much is enough. The clarity is not there. So that is why, say, many goals are decided by your kids' education, kids' marriage. These kind of things have to be taken care of. So now this is one aspect regarding their thought process, regarding their so-called rigid mindset, which we believe that they are not flexible at all. Is there more? What problems do we face with them? The second most common problem is the digital illiteracy, which has prevented many elderly people in India from benefiting from technology. So they lack simple access to essential services like transferring money, applying for government schemes. They actually do either by traveling so much or standing in long queues. Electricity board bill office is very close to my clinic or my house. So every now and then I keep on passing from there. Whenever I see a line, a long line near the due date, I always find, you can say 80% or more in that line being senior citizens. I'm not sure whether the youngsters have sent them, when the youngsters can do everything by the click of a single thing on their phone itself. They can auto pay those things also, their utility bills also. But then for them who are not technologically expert, this is the way to spend them. A recent survey in Delhi NCR region, and this is an Indian survey of 5,000 senior citizens, which was done. It found that 85.8%, close to 86%, did not know how to use digital technology or computers. And about 75% of them felt that lack of digital knowledge was affecting their old age, leaving them feeling marginalized and underprivileged. Because things are growing, you're not growing with the youngsters in your family, you will be feeling left out. Then the biggest hindrance, according to 51% of respondents, was lack of training facilities to pick up technology and soft skills related to technology. Means at least half of them wanted to upkeep the technology. They wanted to stay afloat. They wanted to stay, you can say, abreast with the youngsters in their house. But they felt that there is no one to guide them. At this point of time, I'll take a pause and let you know. I planned this session for all of you and your parents. And how many have actually turned up? The registration was more than 100 in this case. But how many actually turned up? How many parents actually turned up? If we are not doing enough to make our parents aware, because we don't have time, we live in a very, very unfortunate world today where we complain of lack of money. And on top of that, we claim lack of time as well. It is a very pitiful journey, I would say. If you're not earning well also, and still you don't have time also. It should be vice versa. Time and money go proportionate. If you're spending a lot of time in your profession, you must have a lot of income as well. But on one hand, we claim of less income, and on one other hand, we claim very less time. These two things don't go all together. So again, many people who are not aware of it, they want to be not staying afloat with those technologies. So they shy away from using the digital methods because of the fraud. And estimated every year, $36 billion, not Indian rupees, but $36 billion is lost in scams on the elderly. And this is the worldwide data, not for India only. So that is where the numbers are in $1 billion. So many parents or seniors are not clear about the difference between personal and non-personal data. OTT or OTP is a personal thing. CVV is a personal thing. Card number is a personal thing. Aadhaar number is a personal thing. Somehow they are not well versed. They believe that somebody is actually helping them out. If that card is blocked, somebody is helping them out by calling them, asking for their card number. They are giving their international travel code or the OTP, which we or the 6-digit PIN we call it as. They are actually grateful to those people. Thank you for helping me out. My card was blocked. You opened it up without. They don't realize that that is the age of fraud. And with AI coming in, we've already seen so much scams happening in the Western world. Video call happening to wife. Hi, please transfer me this much amount of money. I need it really. And well, what do you need? I'll tell you later on. Please transfer me first. And the wife transfers the money, and the very next moment, the doorbell rings, and the husband comes back home. And what exactly is the answer? I never called you. If I was calling you, how could I be home the next minute? So AI is already as if whatever happening was not enough. The AI actually is making its way big time, where even the most, you can say, smitten ones or the intelligent ones are likely to be made or defrauded as well. So then for them, seniors, of course, the Nokia 1100 and those things don't exist now. So even they have to upgrade to smartphone, you can say. But for almost 53% of them, they use it for connecting to their loved ones. All of us believe, all of us know that our parents, our seniors are the first ones to send a good morning in the morning in the family groups or as a forward to their loved ones or near ones, unless we have blocked them or unless we have, we can say, temporarily left those messages from them. So digital financial literacy resources can help a lot about this demographic. You can say in the past 5 years, even India's senior citizens have tripled. In the past 5 years, India's senior citizens have tripled. And this is not my data. Of course, banking is becoming more and more with digital payments. I have mentioned many times in my previous webinars also. Even today, in today's time, we make all payments digital for our clinic. And I try for mostly for my personal expenses as well. People would always have that you can say mindset. When we have cash, why not spend that? Why spend your white money? The problem is we don't have black. When you show your all income or close to all income, you won't have any black. So I've given that example also. Even if you can say a broom or a jhadu, as we said, for my clinic, 50, 70, 80 rupees, whatever it costs, even that is bought with the digital method only. Even that is not bought with the cash. The only person I pay cash for my clinic is my clinic, you can say, garbage guy or the pude wala, the normal guy. His problem is he is not even existing in this world. He doesn't have Aadhaar. He doesn't have a PAN. His Aadhaar has been lost. He can't retrieve that also. He's tried multiple times. The new one can't be made because the system gives the error that it is there. We've tried. I have also tried through various means, but somehow the logical issues are there. He is not getting that. So even that is a 400 or 500 rupees a month. So that is the only payment that I make in cash. But for seniors, most of the things are made in cash only. They don't use digital ways in that regards. So the economy is changing. We all know that digital payments are making their way to the society, to our way of living in that sense. So the problem is when even digital savvy people like us, they encounter anything, you can say, with fraud, then they also start shifting to cash approach. So everybody needs awareness, everybody needs literacy, everybody needs to understand what exactly are economic financial principles, retirement principles, mutual funds, and all those investments part. So there was another data that survey in 6 months, 8 months back, which in October 22, which said adults, older adults or seniors in India are consuming content primarily from their smartphones. And I believe even the youngsters are doing that. Very, very few people actually use the laptop or the desktop for that purpose. And they use every approach from the smartphone. Even you might be watching this session on smartphone itself, because the lethargy would be there. Who will get up? Who will switch on the laptop? Who will sit and watch the session? Let's watch it in our bed, cuddled up, or maybe sitting up in the bed on our phone. So I'm not, of course, going to ask you how many of you are actually doing that, but that is the way you can make a difference when you want to make I can say it's change in someone's lives. So educating those seniors through a digital content is one of the effective ways to new digital banking customers. Of course, now the key issues are two. Firstly, making them digital literate. I'm going in the opposite order. And then from where we started, shifting their mindset to be open to new age investments. But how to address these key issues? That is the question. How to improve the financial literacy in seniors? And that is what this session is about today. So let's start further exploring these two aspects and get once now we have detailed the problems. Of course, there can be multiple, but I've limited myself to these two broad problems, which will cover, you can say 70 to 80% of the problems that the seniors face, to make them aware of all these aspects. So the number one approach is, of course, in the digital literacy part, is to make them aware of the Ponzi schemes and scams. Of course, promise of returns on investments that are much higher than those offered by the banks. हम समंदर में सोना उगाएंगे, आलू डालेंगे सोना निकलेगा, and all those things. Samandar, you can say we will grow trees which will yield money. So there might be multiple things which are happening. Then attractive marketing deal with new investment options, a salesperson following up that this is for a limited period only. Once you create those things that a limited period offer is there, those impulsive mindsets to make a buy at that point of time, that takes over. And of course, schemes offering reward for family friends. आप KBC के विनर बन चुके हैं, आपकी लॉटरी लगी है, and all those scams you all come across. Then offers from free services from unknown entities and websites. We offer a free massage, we offer a free spa, or whatever you can say, kinds of different kinds of scam that go into the sexual aspects also, which people, you can say naive people are not aware of that. Then your card has been blocked. Can you share your old PIN? You can say no one calls to get your OTP. No one calls. Every day we get at least one message, email, or a video, or a forward, or anything of that sort. But still frauds happen daily. You can say the head office of everything, as has been publicized, is Jamtara. We all know that. So Jamtara, that has been one of the famous Netflix series as well. And I was pretty much impressed with the season 1, and season 2 was mind-blowing. So those of you who have not seen Jamtara, see Jamtara 2 surely. Of course, after you see the 1, because otherwise the connect to the story won't be there. So you will find that so many new and novel methods. When I watched that series in full about a year back, so I thought, now if the frauds watch this series of season 2, they will be having more and more ideas to defraud people. That is the way the novelty has been given in the serial itself. So we believe that people have modeled robberies and theft also based on web shows, TVs, and films also. So these things are also going to play a difference. Then one of the common things, you have a tax refund of rupees 90,000. One of the most common messages that we get. And people get this message, of course, sometimes in the format of what I would say, in paisas. You have a refund of 4,053 rupees 0.98 paisa. I've time and again made everyone aware, income tax department never deals in paisas. It never deals in odd numbers also. It deals in zeros. If you have a refund of, for example, 4,055, it'll give you a refund of 4,060. If you have a refund of 4,054, it'll give you a refund of 4,050. It'll round it off to the nearest zero. And they have, you can say, even they are doing their duty. Every telecom company is doing its duty. Every bank is doing its duty. Still frauds are happening. Because we don't believe what we see online. And that is where a personal touch is required from all of you, for all your parents, those of you who are watching, or those of you who are with me now. So it is your duty to make your parents aware of all these things, that all these aspects are to be there. But then for that, you need to be aware of yourself. We all have seen certain things. Let me just share my screen and show you a video which has been very, very commonly, you can say, doing the rounds. Okay, so that was the video. I think you can see, yeah. If you can see the video and hear the voice, please type LC in the chat box. I paused it temporarily, but if you could hear the voice and see it, please type LC in the chat box. Can you see please the video? Can you hear the audio? Can you guys see the video? Can you see the screen? Okay, wait. Wait. Now can you see the screen and the video? Can you hear the voice? Okay, great. Watch the video.
Hello.
Am I speaking to Mr. Umesh Mehta?
Yes. What is this regarding?
Hello, sir. I'm Swati Mishra calling from GHC Bank. So you have been a loyal customer. So we want to send you on a free trip to Australia. On this trip, you can take up to one guest. So who would you like to take along with you, sir?
My wife?
Oh, so sweet, sir. अंकल जी घूमना चाहते हैं और हमारा काम है उनको घुमाना. Sir, can you give me her name and your PAN card number, please?
Yes. Her name is Parul Mehta. PAN number is.
अंकल जी ने अपने बैंक सिक्योरिटी क्वेश्चंस के सारे जवाब दे दिए. That तरीके.
So, when are you sending us?
When would you like to go, sir?
July is a birthday, no?
Oh, that's great, sir. I have selected July. To confirm the month of July, please help me with the 6-digit international travel code that we have just sent you, sir. हमारा बोलने का मतलब OTP था, लेकिन जब हम इसको इंटरनेशनल ट्रैवल कोड बोलते हैं, तो हमारा अंकल जी का जो दिमाग है
7
वेकेशन मोड में चला जाता है.
4 5 2 6 1.
थैंक यू सो मच, सर. देखो हमने अंकल जी के OTP से इनके बैंक अकाउंट में घुस के इनके रिटायरमेंट सेविंग्स के सारे पैसे ढाप लिए.
You know, my wife will love this surprise.
Yes, sir. This will be a big surprise. आपको क्या लगता है? आपके साथ नहीं हो सकता. ये जमतारा है. सबका नंबर आएगा.
So this is one of the, of course, promotional videos of Jamtara when it happened actually. And of course, there is one more video which I'll be playing. And just a minute, I'm sharing the screen again. Okay, watch it.
नमस्कार, मैं हूं अनूप सोनी. क्या आपको पता है कि बस एक गलत क्लिक से डिजिटल डाकू आपके फोन में घुस सकते हैं? तो कौन है ये चोर और कहां हैं ये लोग? पुलिस के मुताबिक 90% स्कैम कॉल्स जामताड़ा में ट्रेस की गई. आज हम करेंगे इस पूरे झोल का खोल. झारखंड के जिले में लोग बैठे बैठे लाखों कमा रहे हैं. ये ना तो IIT के पास आउट हैं, ना IIMs. इनफैक्ट इन्होंने तो स्कूल भी पास नहीं किया. यहाँ एक ही धंधा चलता है, फिशिंग यानी स्कैमिंग.
सर मैं स्वाति बोल रही हूँ आपके खई बैंक से.
कभी अकाउंट वेरिफिकेशन तो कभी आधार कार्ड लिंक कराने के बहाने ये लोग आपसे आपकी बैंक डिटेल्स ऐसे निकाल लेते हैं कि आपको इसकी भनक भी नहीं लगेगी.
ये केस यहाँ का है ही नहीं. साइबर कोर्ट में एप्लीकेशन डालो.
साइबर सेल के बिना जामताड़ा की पुलिस की नींद भी हराम है. 24 से भी ज्यादा शहरों की स्पेशल टीम्स ने जब जामताड़ा पर छापा मारा तो जांच में पता चला कि इन चोरों का जाल कितना फैल चुका है. पुलिस के मुताबिक एक गैंग आराम से 50 लाख रुपए कमा लेता है. और करते क्या है ये इसका? मनमर्जी लफंगेबाजी, आराम की जिंदगी, बेझिझक ऑनलाइन शॉपिंग. ये सब शुरू होता है आपके फोन नंबर से. याद कीजिए पिछले 24 घंटों में आपने अपना फोन नंबर कहां कहां छोड़ा है. वॉचमैन के रजिस्टर से लेकर ऑनलाइन रजिस्ट्रेशन तक ये सारे नंबर हासिल कर सकते हैं. फोन करके ये आपको लॉटरी या फिर फ्री गाड़ी का लालच देते हैं. आपकी सारी इंफॉर्मेशन लेने के बाद ये OTP मांगते हैं.
आ गया लिखिए.
और अगर कोई OTP देने से इनकार करे तो उसी नंबर को वेरिफिकेशन कोड कहकर ये स्कैमर्स आपका पैसा मिनटों में चुरा लेते हैं. आपको लग रहा होगा कि ये आपके साथ नहीं हो सकता है ना? ये स्कैमर्स अमीर या गरीब, डॉक्टर या इंजीनियर में फर्क नहीं करते। ये जामताड़ा है, यहाँ सबका नंबर आएगा। हेलो, हाँ बोलिए। क्या मेरी लॉटरी लगी है?
Of course, this is not a promotional thing for, you can say, Jamtara or anything similar. The only way is to create literacy or create awareness to for you and for your senior citizens. Of course, there are further things you can help and you can say report regulators about it, report Ponzi schemes, tracking your complaints, helping your regulators, whether it is SEBI, whether it is RBI, whether it is IRDA, whether it is your service provider for your phone. You can say all those people can be made aware so that they can take some stringent guidelines, they can make their systems robust. You must have seen almost every bank's online system has undergone a change now. They all require two things. They either require you to you can say type in that CAPTCHA code. Now they need an OTP for the login also. More and more banks. Earlier, only Kotak Bank had this feature. Federal Bank had this feature. Now, almost every bank is having it. One of the robust system is now with SBI, State Bank of India. You can't really get into the SBI account that easily, even for account holder in today's times. So then you have you have many good reasons to smile if your parents are pensioners or you can say withdrawing any pension. The thing is, earlier there used to be a separate pension account. Now you don't need a separate pension account. Your existing account can be converted into the pension receivable account. Then it can be transferred to any branch, any bank you want. It doesn't need to be. Earlier it used to be that this is a pension branch where you get the pension. Then the life certificate is from November to October. That has to be renewed before the October, and they usually give 2 months of time. Before 31st of December, you have to renew that, your life certificate. Earlier, it used to be only in one particular branch. Now you can go to any bank branch and it is their duty to actually make them in sync with their headquarter branch or their respective branch, which is dealing with that. So, of course, the Jeevan Praman or the life certificate that is called as, it can be dealt with online also, with your Aadhaar also. Government of India is taking certain endeavors in that regard. So then information on joint accounts and premature withdrawal of deposits. So it is advisable to keep a joint account with your spouse. For the seniors, I would always advise and have the nomination registered along with ERS or FYS, either or survivor or former or survivor. Normally in today's times, if you don't give anything, most of the banks for a joint account will pick E/S, but still make sure that it is an either or survivor account, because if it is a joint operational account and you have to deal with that with the signatures of both. Then to withdraw your fixed term deposits, you can give a mandate at the same time when you're making a deposit that you will need to withdraw it. And many banks now don't charge a premature penalty fee or a premature breakup fee for any kind of breakage for senior citizens. For the normal citizen, it is still there, but this is what they have done for that regard. So in case you don't renew your FDs for senior citizens, the banks automatically renew it for the same time period that you always do in that regard. So this is one aspect. Pardon me, we have a power failure here. It has been heavily raining since yesterday. Just need to make sure the generator is automatically on. Fine, thank you. So then banking operations for old, sick and incapacitated persons. That is what the government has made changes. If you're old, unwell or physically challenged, you can say you can withdraw money using thumb impression also. Of course, it should be identified by 2 independent witnesses who are known to the bank, and one of them can be a bank official and one of them can be account holder of the bank also. Even if you can't put your thumb impression and physically not present, a mark can be printed on check withdrawal, which can be identified again by 2 witnesses. One of them should be a bank employee. This is one of the ways where you can operate for old, sick or incapacitated persons also. And of course, the bank will also indicate you who would withdraw the amount if you are not capable enough or not in a condition to withdraw that amount. So the recent initiatives of RBI have been in that regard. Dedicated counters have been given for senior citizens or differently abled persons. Of course, life certificate, as I said, has been made very, very easy. The Jeevan Praman Patra, or they call it the life certificate, which has to be renewed in November and December every year after 31st October. Then automatic conversion of account status. If your account is KYC compliant, your date of birth is already there, it will be automatically converted to a senior citizen account once you cross 60, because every birthday you must be receiving a birthday wish from your bank also. And if the bank has your date, it will be automatically converting. It is in their CBS or the core banking solution itself to convert the account into a senior citizen account. Of course, 15G, 15H, earlier it used to be given every quarter sometimes. Then banking made to be given in April. Now you can do it in every, even if you have a TDS deducted for 1 quarter, you can give it in the next quarter, so that the bank does not automatically deduct your TDS if you have heavy deposits, especially senior citizens. And of course, with privilege banking and for senior citizens, there are many banks that have come up with an initiative of doorstep banking. Of course, with some of them offer 1, 2 times a month. Some of them offer, you can say 5 visits a month. Some of them offer all chargeable visits. So it depends upon that. Now, that brings me to the second part, which is the investment options which are suitable for them. So we all know about these options. One of the most famous schemes is the Senior Citizen Scheme and Savings Scheme, which is known as SCSS. It is the government-backed scheme. Anyone aged above 60 can invest. And of course, anyone who's retired above 55 but is below 60 can also opt, but if they invest within a month of receiving their retirement benefits, they would be considered as retired if they are above 55 and below 60. So minimum investment 10, you can say it was 1,000 and maximum 15 lakh. Now in the budget 2023, this was revised to 30 lakhs from 50 lakhs. So has a 5-year tenure, but can be extended by 3 years. It has an interest of 7.4%. Of course, interest payable every quarter and fully taxable. So when the interest is paid out, it is like a quarterly pension only. Then, of course, the principal amount stays put or stays the same at the maturity. Then the second most common for senior citizen scheme option is Pradhan Mantri Vyaya Vandana Yojana. So it was launched in 2017, much similar to, you can say, SCSS. The only thing is the tenure is not 5 years here. There it was 5 + 3. Here it is 10 years. The interest offered is same. So, and of course, the interest rate remains the same and it's not a fluctuating one, even you can say. And you can get a pension. You have a choice: monthly, quarterly, half yearly or yearly. It is your choice. Whichever way you want the payout as a senior citizen, you can get it. So you can invest a maximum amount of 15 lakh in Pradhan Mantri Vyaya Vandana Yojana. So minimum amount should be 1.56 lakhs. For example, somebody who invests about 3 lakhs in this scheme will get an annual pension of 25,000 or a little more than 2,000 rupees per month. Depends upon your investment. So if, again, as I said, the mindset is to get a fixed solutions or to get a fixed income in that regard at that point of time. Now, FDs. So when I took this session in August 2021, at that point of time, FD rates were close to 5.5, 5.7, 5.8, even for the senior citizens. So at that point of time, it did not make any sense to me. And even for youngsters, even for any normal individual, I will say, and adults also below 60, I consider FD as a dead investment. It is actually an investment which can't beat inflation. So it should not be there. Now, this thing has to have a different mindset for senior citizens. As I said, their needs and wants are limited. Needs also less, wants absolutely appreciably less. So what that means is that in today's time, as I told you in the start, many banks are offering interest rates of up to 9.5 also in today's time for senior citizens. So many banks have now shifted. Some of the banks are offering 0.8 plus also. Of course, when they started out, they were offering 1% more. back then in 2013-14. Now, gradually everyone reduced to 0.5. Now, a few banks have increased. They offer 0.5, 0.6, 0.7, 0.8 more than what they're offering to a normal citizen. So if you're getting 9+ for a senior citizen, NFD is a good instrument for a senior citizen in that regard, but only if that much is the rate. Considering even the Vandana Yojana and the senior citizen scheme are in the range of 7.4. And again, all of them are fully taxable, of course. Then RBI floating bonds, which are 7.15 bonds, also known as, they're also known as 7.15% bonds. So they offer 7.15%. They're called floating because their interest is reset every 6 months. Although there is not a drastic change, but that is where the condition always is that it is linked to the National Savings Certificate. Again, one of the most common investments, which is famous or favorite with the senior citizens. So it will always have 0.35 more than NSE rate. So this is reset on January 1 and July every year, whenever the economic policy is announced in that. So the minimum amount is 1,000 and there is no cap on the maximum amount of the floating bonds. Then the POMIS scheme, again, one of the schemes where you can get a monthly pension. Earlier, a single person, individual could invest up to 4.5 lakhs and joint could invest up to 9 lakhs. Now, this has been changed in budget 2023. It has been changed for individual from 4.5 to 9, and for joint it has been changed from 9 to 15 lakhs. So presently MIS in post office offers you 7.1. Now this is a monthly income scheme, POMIS. It is available only in post office and not in the banks. So of course the interest is credited at the end of each month and the principal amount stays put at the end of maturity. And of course it has a scheme. It is a scheme of 5 years in that regard. So then if we look at investments for growth, these were a few fixed investments where you get a fixed income, POMIS, even FD, the Pradhan Mantri Vyaya Vandana Yojana or the senior citizen savings scheme. These 4 were the stable investments, debt kind of investments, which were giving you returns. Of course, the floating bonds also. So those 5 were in that category. So, but the mutual funds are for the growth. Now, when we look at these aspects, we have to have at least a 20% exposure for everyone in that. It is dependent upon age. To be on the safer side, we always believe in we always say the universally followed formula is 100 minus your age. Somebody is 60, you will say 40% in equity. In Indian conditions, we don't follow the 100 minus age. We follow the 80 minus your age, which means 80 minus your age. If your age is 60, up to 20% of your money should stay in equity, which should give you a return of 12, 13, 14, 15%, which can balance out somehow your investments. If not, again, because appreciation of investment is always what is expected, because sometimes to get those debt security means the schemes I've told, you invest in multiple things, you get a monthly pension to survive, your principal is safe. You need to still remember to get a good, comfortable living life, healthy lifestyle to survive. You need to put in a huge corpus. But if somebody is not having a huge corpus, he'll be withdrawing a meager pension. So that is where a growth portfolio helps in that regard. Of course, equity mutual funds are taxed. They still have the LTCG benefit. This will be revised very, very soon, I believe. So less than 1 year, they are charged at STSG, short-term capital gains. The debt used to have, you can say, multiple things, but since April 23, STCG or LTCG, everything is gone. They are chargeable as per your slab. So no indexation benefit are not offered in that regard. So as we come to close of 60 minutes for this presentation, exactly what is the summary for today's session? So the important things to understand is that debt is to equity ratio changes as per age. For example, at the age 60, up to 20% should be or maybe or can be. Your choice, I advise strongly. In stocks, equity, mutual funds, at least which has a growth potential. Of course, it should be fill it and shut it and forget it kind of approach. It should not be looked at. The remaining 80% should be used as a pension amount. So at least this 20% is growing and appreciating in investment. So then what is bad instrument for youngsters is not bad for senior pros, like an FDR. I gave you varied reasons already. Let me give you a few more. Senior citizens have an option of 0.5 to 0.8% more. As I said, it started with 1, then came down to 0.5. Now many banks have made a difference. 0.8 up to difference from normal is also there. Number 2, most of the times the premature penalty clause is not applicable in many banks for senior citizens. Number 3, we always look out if for any young adult or for any normal adult below 60, 80 TTA comes into being. 80 TTA means 10,000 exemption over savings account. But for senior citizens, 80 TTB comes into application, and 80 TTB does not include their saving, but their deposit interest also, which they have on any deposits. So even the MI, monthly income scheme, or the any kind of post office time deposits or post office FDs. Yes, the post office saving account interest 7,000 is still separately over 10,000 and 50,000 respectively for a joint account in post office. Don't confuse that. The 1089 section of post office will still be over and above this 10 and 50 for both. So what is the carry home gyan for today? The basic gyan which all should understand. So is it the end or is it just the beginning? My endeavor was to make you all aware. Whosoever could gain out of it, I will be, you can say, feeling thankful. For those who could not join, it's their choice. Can't blame them. So the senior citizens have decent needs but limited wants. They do have sometimes necessary demands like medications, which are a part and parcel of the old age. So their money needs to be such that it supports their monthly expenditure. And of course, if they are investing well and earning well, their 80 TTB is taking care of a good chunk of their interests. You need to remember, even if you can say they have invested up to 10 lakhs, the returns at 7.5% should be close to 75,000 rupees. And 80 TTB is taking care at least of 50%. The only 25% would be taxable. And then the rate also comes into play. Then the range also comes into play. They have exemption up to not 2.5 lakhs, but 3 lakhs. Add, you can say, an income of 3.5. Sorry, 3.5 means you add 80 TTB also. So they have a cushion of, without any investment, they have a cushion of 3.5 lakhs for zero taxable income in that sense. Of course, they have a range of, if they don't invest in anything, they have a range of up to 7 lakhs now as per the NTR. But even the OTR, they had a range of 5 lakhs also. So even if we count that somebody is invested for 60 lakh rupees, he will be having close to 50,000 rupees of interest only per month, which will be 6 lakhs of income. So it will be coming down to roughly zero tax also. So 50, 60 lakhs is not a small amount invested in debt, I would say. But as I said, why I advise mutual funds was that somebody will not be having that 50 lakh corpus to stay invested from where their regular monthly income is coming, interest income is coming. Why I'm saying all this is because majority of the senior citizens will believe that interest income is their survival chance. They survive only by interest income. So they will look out for avenues which offer them regular income while protecting their capital, while protecting their principal amount. That is their mindset, which we discussed a lot in the beginning part. Of course, if some of them can offer tax benefits like ELSS schemes, that is like an icing on the cake for them. So the carry home final gyan is that parents do everything for us. It is our duty to return back the favor. We talked about digital literacy. It is your duty to make them aware of what all needs to be done in terms of OTP, CVV, card number, Aadhaar number, bank linking, or whatever kinds of scams are there. Remember, AI scams are going to go further deeper, and they are going to even defraud the most naive ones also. So it is all karma. It will come back to you one day. Tomorrow, the technology is going to go so deeper that even we'll be feeling helpless. Our kids might be growing with the technology, and then at that point, karma will come to backbite you badly. Remember, then your times 30 years back or 40 years back, but whatever you did to. So spread awareness. So at this point of time, I'm going to again share a couple of videos, very small videos, which you are going to find value, which you can share with your parents in that regard. Just a second. And very, very small 1-minute videos. Which I found pretty much useful. So I'm sharing them with you here. Okay, let's play. Just a second, please. You will be able to see the screen now. I think you'll be able to see the screen.
सर मैं स्टेट बैंक से बोल रहा हूँ।
जी बोलिए।
सर आपने हाल ही में कुछ बड़ा ट्रांजैक्शन किया है?
अंशुल तुमने कोई बड़ा ट्रांजैक्शन किया है?
मम्मी की टिकट्स।
मम्मी की जी जी किया है। क्यों?
सर आपका अकाउंट सिक्योरिटी रीजंस के लिए ब्लॉक किया गया है सर।
अरे क्यों?
तो उसे अनब्लॉक करने के लिए आपकी पर्सनल डिटेल्स चाहिए।
हाँ पूछिए।
सर डेट ऑफ बर्थ
12/9/78।
सर आपका पिन और एटीएम कार्ड नंबर।
चल मेरा वॉलेट का। एक मिनट नहीं लेकिन हेलो एक मिनट रुकिए। हाँ जी 52।
भाई साहब किससे बात कर रहे हो आप और किसको पिन दे रहे हो?
बैंकर है।
अगर वो बैंकर है तो पिन नहीं मांगेगा।
कॉल किसी का भी हो, पिन, सीवीवी नंबर, ओटीपी, पासवर्ड और पर्सनल डिटेल्स ये किसी से ना शेयर करें। बी सेफ, नॉट सॉरी।
कुछ भी हो जाए बैंकर आपका पिन नहीं मांगेगा।
Okay, couple more. Okay, 1 second.
बबली मैडम को है शॉपिंग का शौक। एडवांस में ही करती हैं OLX से सब कुछ स्टॉक। पर्दा आने से पहले ऑर्डर किया मैचिंग काउच। बिल्ली के बड़ा होने से पहले XXL डॉग हाउस। लेकिन एक दिन जब आया लैपटॉप लेने का मोमेंट, सेलर ने मांगा थोड़ा एडवांस पेमेंट। लगा इन्हें कि ये सेलर तो ठग लेगा, ब्लॉक किया उसे दिखा के ठेंगा। तो आप भी शॉपिंग करते हुए मत लो कोई चांस और पेमेंट नेवर इन एडवांस। OLX करो, आगे बढ़ो। चौरसिया नहीं जाते ज्यादा आउट ऑफ हिज वे, तो शॉपिंग करते हैं OLX पे। गिटार लिया अगल के पार्क में, 32 इंच LED बगल की पार्किंग लॉट में। लेकिन एक दिन बाइक में इंटरेस्ट दिखाया किसी फेक कर्नल घनश्याम ने, जो बोला मिलो अकेले आकर इस गोदाम में। अनसेफ लगा इन्हें ये लैंडस्केप, तुरंत मारा इस शेडी डील से एस्केप। तो इनकी तरह हमेशा पब्लिक प्लेस में ही मिलो और दिल खोल के OLX पे बेचो खरीदो। OLX करो, आगे बढ़ो। कारपेट पे कैबिनेट, कैबिनेट पे सुवेनियर। OLX पे इन मोहतरमा ने ढूंढ निकाला इन सबसे भी मैचिंग एक शैंडेलियर। लेकिन एक दिन बेचने को डाली जब अपनी कार, UPI लिंक भेज के बोला एक खरीदार, आप बस एंटर करो पिन, पाओ पेमेंट 2 सेकंड्स के विदिन। झट से किया ट्रांजैक्शन अबॉर्ट और फट से इस फ्रॉड को रिपोर्ट। तो आप भी शॉपिंग करते वक्त रहो अवेयर और अपना UPI पिन किसी से मत करो शेयर। OLX करो, आगे बढ़ो।
So these are a few awareness videos that everybody brings out as a part of their CSR. So it is our responsibility to be aware, because normally we have that habit of skipping the things whenever we come across these things. So the moral of the whole story is Keep educating yourself. All these videos were made to make you aware. This small 30-second, 1-second clips I intentionally included. I rarely include videos. So these are the ways where you can keep yourself updated, keep educating yourself. And thank you so much. Before I wind up my presentation, just a few announcements. So all of you know that we are running this community on Facebook. We started it a year back in August. So this is again an endeavor to join the broken education system, which I feel is the major reason for lack of awareness in colleagues regarding practice management, regarding medical legal consent, and of course, finances. So we're doing our endeavor to build up the things. Of course, most of you are in WhatsApp community. If you want any friend of yours to be added, we know that we have consolidated these into 2 groups only, 1 and 2, and almost second group would be full in a few days time. So then probably the 3rd group. Otherwise, we have consolidated all these and try to limit the information. Of course, there is a YouTube channel also. There are more than 650 videos. It's close to exactly, you can say 3 years ever since I started it. But the endeavor is to, you can say, create awareness about all these 2 colleagues. So this is my social media presence. All of like a YouTube channel is by my name only, Dr. Pabdi, without any namespace or underscore. So of course, do send your feedback in the WhatsApp group wherever you are attending this from 1 or 2 bookers and brickbats. For both would be welcome in equal measure. If this session gave any value to you, for your parents, for your seniors in your family, I'll be grateful if you pass on the same information to your parents, and of course put in your feedback so that all others are aware. Remember, together we can make a change in spreading the awareness. The only endeavor is to spread the awareness and nothing else in that regard. And of course, question time. I stop my share and unmute you all for asking any questions. You can unmute, switch on your camera and ask your questions. Please go ahead. I have unmuted you all. Okay. Let me see where is. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Bindu. Thank you, Dr. Aarti. Thank you, Dr. Pooja. Please do put in your feedback in the WhatsApp group, whatever your takeaway points were. It's not about thanking me in the WhatsApp group. It is about posting your takeaway points so that, again, what I'm doing to give back to society, kindly do your bit to give back to your colleagues. Those who could not attend, those who didn't want to attend, those who registered and still did not attend, it's their choice. We can't force them, but the only thing is that you do your bit in educating them. Because even if all of us believe that the world needs to change, we don't need to change the whole world. We just need to change ourselves and the world will automatically be a better place. So any queries, any questions, please feel free to ask. I've tried to condense the information in about 60-70 minutes or so. So barring the handicap, barring the, you can say there are a few logistical issues since past, you can say 1.5 days and even this morning. But yes, overcame all of this and we are there doing the session. Okay, so if there are no questions, then I call it a day. And of course, we meet in the afternoon at 3 o'clock with the webinar number 2 of the day. It is again a webinar for the females, but I can see most of the females attending this session. Of course, there are a few males also. But the point is not that whether it is for male or female, all of you can attend all 3 sessions as well, as this is intended to be there for you or for my own community as well, and nothing else. Thank you so much, guys, and have a great day. And I'll be launching my book cover around about 11 on social media. So stay tuned and keep following wherever you can. Bye-bye. Take care. Have a great day. And please do post your takeaways in the WhatsApp group. Thank you. Have a great day.